Well, tonight on the podcast, ladies and gentlemen, your friend Van Jones, good old Cryin Van Jones, he started to say what Democrats been wanting to say to black Americans for a very long time. And I'm going to appreciate Van Jones for coming out and saying this, because every time I'm trying to wake black Americans up about this Democrat Party and what we say about them, they just want to kick, scream, cry, yell, and everything else. And I told you that Democrat Party is you talk about MAGA, they're worse than MAGA, whatever you think MAGA is, they're worse. Now, listen to your boy Van Jones real quick and what he actually says when he brings up reparations. Let's go ahead and roll that.
Party behind her, but she's doing something, she's fixing some problems on the left. This whole thing has been an implicit critique of problems that we've had on the left. The left before we walked in here was about justice, diversity, trigger warnings, reparations for the past, and a bunch of party poopers and scolds. That was the knock on the left. We have gone from talking about justice, which is wonderful, but now it's about freedom. It's not just about diversity, it's about patriotism. It's not just about trigger warnings. In fact, that's gone. It's tough, tough, tough. Reparations for the past? No. Fight for the future. Party poopers? No. We legalize fun. We legalize fun. We put the party back in the Democratic Party.
So you heard what Van had to say. So Van is in the inside. So what Van is saying is how they really feel. But let's start playing this over again, and we'll just stop it, because this is some interesting footage here. What Van had to say. Let's go.
This party behind her, but she's doing something. She's fixing some problems on the left. This whole thing has been an implicit critique of problems that we've had on the left. The left before we walked in here was about justice.
Okay, so according to Van Jones, you advocating for justice is a problem. Okay, so go ahead and mark that down. The Democrats got a problem when you talk about justice. Okay, Van.
Diversity.
Talking about diversity or making sure black folks get their equal share in business, their equal share in resources, their equal share in whatever they need in America. So justice for black folk, diversity and anything like that, or just black folks' fair share, that's been a problem.
Trigger warnings.
Whatever the trigger warning is.
Reparations for the past.
Reparations has been a problem, right? Clearly, reparations for you is a problem.
And a bunch of party poopers and scolds.
And because you've been mentioning that, think about what he just said. Everything that he mentioned is what black folks have been talking about. Not everybody, black folks. Justice for Sonia Massey. Black folks getting the same access as the folks and anybody else in this country, and reparations.
That was the knock on the left.
You advocating for your stuff, it has been a knock on Democrats.
We have gone from talking about justice, which is wonderful, but now it's about freedom.
It's not wonderful because you wouldn't have said it was a problem.
It's not just about diversity, it's about patriotism. It's not just about trigger warnings. In fact, that's gone. It's tough, tough, tough. Reparations for the past? No. Fight for the future. It's not just about trigger warnings. In fact, that's gone. It's tough, tough, tough. Reparations for the past? No. Tough. Reparations for the past? No. Tough. Reparations for the past? No.
I wanted to play that several times for you so you can hear it. Remember, Van Jones come out of the Obama administration. Vice President Kamala Harris have Obama administration people all in her camp right now. You understand? This is things they have been discussing. Once again, Obama let out the air out of the tires of black folks those whole 8 years, to the point that you didn't ask for nothing. And if you thought about asking for something, he will scold you and tell you that he's not the president of black people or black America. He called black men thugs. You got to remember that Obama was something else. Now they're using another black adjacent person. Right? They won't go get a foundational black American. They won't go get one of them. They'll make sure to go get an immigrant. And matter of fact, they're not even going to get a full black immigrant. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got immigrants as Jamaican immigrants here who you look at them as two black parents. They not even won't get one of them. But I hope y'all paying attention to that. What the Democrats trying to do. They look at everything that we advocate for as a problem. And what do you want to advocate? So justice for people like Sonia Massey, forget that. Freedom. What freedom? We wouldn't be talking about justice if we had some freedom, you slow people. And you went to Yale University, but see, this the thing. The reason why I take more issue with the black political class, the black preacher, the black elite, the black boule, all of them, is because they are the stumbling block for black America. Have y'all noticed I don't really talk about white supremacists like I used to? Have you noticed that? Do you notice I don't say a lot about white supremacy as like I used to? Some of you may be questioning why he don't do that. Because I've truly seen that our greatest stumbling block in black America is them, Van Jones and the boule and these celebrities and all these people. They are our greatest stumbling block. You can't even get to talking about racism, white supremacy if you don't get that first. They are the problem. They confuse people. They mislead people. They make sure that we don't have a unified front on anything. Show me the Hispanic commentator talking down on Hispanics and what they want. Show me the white commentator talking down on white people and what they want and need. Show me the Asian commentator or political class or whatever talking down on what they need. Nobody does this. Then you want to complain and say other groups are getting ahead of us. Yeah, because with unity, you win. We don't have unity in America, especially with black Americans. Black Americans are the enemy for everybody. If you're not part of black America, most people look at us as the enemy. They look at us as a barrier in their way because we are a reminder that to them, they want to assimilate in the white supremacy, right? And we got people like Van Jones that has completely assimilated. Let me tell you something. If Jeff Bezos had no problem giving him $100 million, then clearly, as we know, Van Jones is compromised. But to the Democrat Party, this is why. See, what he just said, think about it. The Democrats haven't mentioned Sonia Massey at all. They even said that sister's name. Well, what Van Jones just said, now I know why. It makes sense. The Democrats didn't come out saying nothing about what happened with the Fearless Fund and how Edward Bloom and them helped shut down the Fearless Fund. Oh, but I know why the Democrats, and for sure Kamala won't say nothing. Well, you know, he's part of Kamala's husband's, ethnic group or religion. Let me say a religion. And, she's not going to say nothing what was Zaddy do to black American women because she's not a black American woman herself. Definitely not the FBA. So she don't care what happens to black women. But you have some silly, any of y'all at this point telling me something about that party?
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with y'all? You're crazy.
That's the only thing I can say at this point. I mean, how much more do you need them to tell you? I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm not mad at Van Jones for what he just said. I'm not mad at it. Actually, I appreciate Van Jones, what he just said. I like when people are upfront with me. If it's a no, it's a hell no, tell me. If it's a yes, tell me. If it's yeah, we can do it, just let me know what's up. I'm cool with a no. That way I know how to respond accordingly. See, the Democrats feel comfortable now to say, you know what, we're not going to put that carrot in front of the horse no more. We ain't doing that. We ain't got to do that because now we know y'all silly enough to go vote for this woman because you're thinking you're getting something out of it. And everything that you advocate for. Now think about that. If a white liberal man said the exact same thing Van said, y'all would have said that's racism and that would have been a problem. But he can say it. See, that's been y'all problem in black America. You want to go at white folk when they say something, but you won't go harder at the black person for saying it. That's why the Democrats know they can put up a Kamala Harris and do worse off to black America than Biden could. You understand what I'm saying? But y'all let Biden get away with saying, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. So you let him get away with that too, just because he got a D in front of his party affiliation. And this is why, too, I'm going to tell y'all, this is why people eventually get to their point with black America. I'm talking about those who advocate for you sometimes they throw their hands up because it's like, Van Jones is not a problem to deal with. The boule is not a problem to deal with. They're actually easy to deal with. They're not hard. These black gatekeepers are not hard. But when y'all support that, when y'all cool with that, when y'all sit up here and parrot those talking points, well, we're not going to get reparations. Man, these migrants come in here and they automatically got their hands out. How is it the migrants are more bold to open their hands up to the government and say, give me resources? They're more bold to ask our government for resources than you are. You'll argue. We can't do that. It's not politically popular, and it's politically popular to get the migrants. You know what I'm saying? The government don't do things based off of popularity, but they know that the majority of you not serious. They know the majority of black Americans not serious about reparations. They know that because if you were serious, the Democrats will lose this election. And then when they lose this election, you tell them, I did it because what you just said about reparations, that's what I'm good with. And of course, y'all fold if they say, well, what Trump gonna do for you? I'm not talking about Trump today. I'm talking about you. If we gave Trump 60 years of votes, did we give Republicans 60 years of votes? When we give Republicans 60 years of votes, then we go tell them about reparations. Hey, I said this before. Because of Trump's narcissism, it'd be easier probably to go ask Trump for reparations than it would be the Democrats. Because you can play on Trump's narcissism. He already say he's done more for black people than Abraham Lincoln. I would play on that. I would say, you know what, President Trump? If you really want to be greater than Abraham Lincoln, you could be the shining star of America, black America. You would be heralded as the greatest presidents ever. All you got to do is reparations, President Trump. You already did this. Look, President Trump, you did the stimulus checks. You saw that. Look at what black people say just for stimulus checks. Now, what if you said reparations? What if you done reparations, President Trump? You would be greater than Abraham Lincoln. Because of his narcissism, he would eat that up, and he would probably want to do it because he wants to be his narcissism. You could play on it very easily. The ego is his thing. But black folks don't play the game. They just don't. They don't. They sit up here and be in a sinking ship. But like I said before, you put that woman in there after 4 years of Biden Harris, you go put it in there. I don't want to hear it at that point. I'm telling you, these black gatekeepers and all of them, I don't want to hear nothing about them. Because the whole time, when you suffering, I'm going to be pointing right on out and say, yeah, you suffering because that's what you wanted. You chose suffering. You're the only group in America that would choose suffering. No other group would do that but you. You're the only one. You. It gets very annoying. I'm telling you, this stuff for me, I've been doing this about a good 12 years. And I'm telling you, I'm more annoyed. I'm more annoyed because y'all allow people like Van Jones, the Democrat Shields, these black politicians, the black preacher, to constantly keep making you fall. And the crazy part is you fall in and you just don't even see it. And then when people like myself and others tell you we're the bad guy, that lady is the bad lady, when we're trying to help your behind. Hell, it's more money in making you fall. Do you know that? These high-paid Democrat operatives always attacking us is actually more money in getting on the Democrat side and leading you down, tripping you up too. Like if I was really about getting some money like that, I would just go with the Democrats and help trip you up too and get paid like the rest of them. My integrity, I just can't do that. I can't just willingly sell out black people so I can get paid. Because trust me, if it was all about money for me and I just need to get some money and I won't go with the money, I just go with the Democrats and just trip you up every day and tell you the greatness of Kamala Harris and do everything by Kamala Harris and the Democrats and Biden and anybody else that they got coming along. I can't do it. I just have more integrity than that. I just believe God to bless me for doing what was right in my heart. Because not all money, not good money. That's one thing you better learn that early in life. But this stuff, man, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Everything that you fight for has been a problem for the Democrat Party. Basically, what he's saying is you've been a problem while Democrats been having an issue. And you wonder why black men have walked away. You wonder why. Why in the world would you want to be a part of that? And even though I'm saying all this and Van Jones is plainly saying this, you will still have black folks that will come here. Well, and they're not shills, but they will still say, well, yeah, I don't like what he said. And I disagree with that. I mean, we do need reparations, but at least she better than Trump. And them kind of people right there, I just shake my head. I shake my head. And sometimes it reminds me of the Bible. I think about the moments where the Lord himself just got so frustrated. And he said, how long I'm going to be with you? He got just frustrated with them because they wasn't listening. They wasn't getting it. That can get frustrating. And I always said, I'm not going to let none of y'all stress me out. Because I will easily transition to something else, another type of form of media, if y'all are stressing me out way too much. Or I'll let somebody else have it. And they can go through the stress, and I'll just do other things on somewhere else, other forms of content. Because this is getting ridiculous. This is getting ridiculous. We live in the information age, and it seems like y'all have no information more so now than what black folks had in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. It is annoying. It's annoying. And listen, everything he said, I seen all these black folks just cheering, and I'm like, what are you cheering for? You're at the bottom. You're at the bottom. Nobody's like at the bottom. Look, migrants are above you. What are you cheering for? What are you cheering for? Migrants are getting ahead of you and they just got here. What are you cheering for? But I don't know. Maybe you like being at the bottom. That's my problem. I think that's my biggest problem. I have to accept that a lot of you love being at the bottom. You okay with it. I ain't trying to be at the bottom with you. I'm not. I don't want to be nowhere near you. And I know there's a lot of black folks that feel just like me. They don't want to be at the bottom with you. But this is the problem. When we trying to get away from you, you trying to drag us back down or trying to hold us up. That's my problem with y'all. If you want to be at the bottom, just stay there. Just stay right where you at, and that's cool. Just stay out my way. Stay out of our way. You understand? But, shout out to Van Jones, man. Shout out to Van Jones. I appreciate what Van said. Van, I ain't got a problem with you, brother. You keep crying. You keep shilling. Do what you do. Because maybe some things you saying will wake some people up. If you want to, hey, you put here to be a stumbling block to Black America. I see why they paying you. I see. But to those who actually get it, to those who are not trying to be at the bottom, those who's not trying to be a laughing stock. Because, yes, if migrants are coming here and get above you, that's why they're laughing at you and telling you, I just got here 5 minutes ago. How you've been here all these years and I got above you. Yeah, they have got above you because they're cheering at the DNC convention while they're at the bottom. That's why these other migrants are taking resources out there. While you're cheering, they're getting resources out your back pocket and they're creating businesses and they're going to be above you in 12 months. They're giving them houses. They're giving them everything. But you're at the DNC cheering. Having a party. That's what you're doing. That's why I'm almost getting to a point. My sympathy level is starting to get a little low on some things because it's like, bruh, it's like you choosing to be at the bottom at this point. And if you choose to be at the bottom, who am I to